let's talk about some of the testimony that you gave in your favorite committee in the Maryland General Assembly, the GLEE committee, right? So the first one was HB 580, and that's related to ranked choice voting, RCV, which has been a long-term part of a lot of green grassroots democracy platform-related initiatives. So tell us about the bill, and tell us about your take on it and why you were there.
Yeah, so HB 580 is sponsored by the Montgomery County delegation, and I think this is the 5th or 6th time the Montgomery County delegation to the General Assembly has sponsored a bill that would allow Montgomery County to choose to use ranked choice voting if they want to choose to use ranked choice voting. And so almost every year, this bill has unanimous support from the Montgomery County delegation to the General Assembly, and almost every year it doesn't really go forward and nothing happens. And so what this bill would do is, right now in Maryland, municipalities can choose to have ranked choice voting, but at the state level and the county level, there's no ranked choice voting permitted. And so Tacoma Park has had ranked choice voting for a long time. And recently Greenbelt adopted ranked choice voting. And there's other work to get other municipalities to take it. But those elections are not run by the State Board of Elections. And only elections that start at the county level are run by the State Board of Elections. So the strategy here is to find one county where it can particularly work, and they can experiment with it, and they can see what's good and they can see what's bad, and to allow that county to implement it, require that the State Board of Elections provide the machines and the equipment and the processes and all of that, and use it as pretty much a pilot in action. It has support from the county council. It has support from the delegation. And the question is whether the General Assembly finally this year, after 5 or 6 years, is going to give them the ability to do this. So we testified in favor of it. We've been supportive of it for a long time. As you mentioned, ranked choice voting has been a part of the Green Party platform, I think, since the Green Party existed. We've understood that the spoiler problem, in which people are afraid to vote for the candidate they believe in because of the consequences in a winner-take-all election, is a problem for multi-party democracy. So I provided written testimony for this, and you can see it there in the show description. Basically said ranked choice voting is good for voters. It increases voters' participation in elections. It increases turnout. And one of the points that I make in this is that ranked choice voting is not necessarily good for a party like the Green Party. There's no real data to suggest that when you switch to ranked choice voting, it makes it more likely that Greens get elected. If it were to help a party, it would help a more moderate or centrist party in most cases, and not a party that is value-based and ideological. And that's okay, right? Because my framing of it is the Green Party supports this not because it's good for us, but because it's good for voters, and it is good for the health of our democracy. And that's the point we made here. We submitted a written testimony on it. There was some great testimony by a lot of people from Montgomery County, and most of the focus is on Montgomery County and why they need this. And so, most of the focus was there, but we are strongly in support of this. We think this should go forward. We think counties should be able to innovate with election practice. And we think ranked choice voting is good for voters. We think it helps to get to majorities in races where there are a bunch of people in a primary. And we think that it is a good way for people to have choices on the ballot beyond Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. Thanks for that insight, Andy. I'm going to keep us moving because we have guests tonight. We have a lot to cover. But if you want to learn more, you can follow that link that Andy mentioned, and you can contact your state senator or your delegates if you live in Maryland about this ranked choice voting bill, HB 580. So the next one that we're going to talk about, HB 575, and this is the kids can cut school to go to a protest bill. Is that how I'm understanding it?
Let's start with kids can have excused absences to engage in civic engagement. We'll start there.
Okay.
So right now, across Maryland, there is no uniform way for dealing with this. When I was in high school, I would routinely get permission to go to DC to see government things or to go to local government things. When I coached debate at the Baltimore Urban Debate League, we oftentimes had students that were invited to, do public debates in front of government things or attend meetings about things they had debated. And what we found was that some principals were okay with that, other principals were not okay with that. And so it is a gray area right now in how school districts outside of Howard County, where they have a uniform regulation, school districts and schools really get to decide whether students can have excused absences to do civic engagement. And so what this bill does, I think, is pretty simple. It makes a uniform allowance that students can have excused, and it's not like you can't like go work in the state legislature. You can have, I think, like 3 or 4 excused absences for civic engagement during the course of the year. And it makes it so that it is not up to the determination of the principal. It's not up to the determination of a school system. It's a state law that makes it uniform. Now, I think that the bill says that you can go to a protest. I think this will be where the question comes up if it gets implemented, is what exactly counts as civic engagement, and what is it that where does the decision making shift? Nothing like this is easy. Like, a principal that doesn't want students engaging in civic engagement is going to say okay to go testify in the state legislature and may not say okay to a protest, but having a uniform state standard makes it easier for us to try to change that standard to include other things instead of dealing with this on an ad hoc, one at a time basis.
Right. Right. No, I think that's really cool. And recently we've seen some principals out at, student protests or walkouts supporting their students, saying they're proud of their students, supporting other forms of student engagement, right? And right now, those are the vocal minority. There might be others who are allowing it and not in the media about it, but this kind of creates a consistent across the board approach so that the ideology of one principal doesn't determine whether a student can participate in civic engagement. I think that makes sense. So that's really cool. So let's